The epic story of Rome began in 753 BC with a modest settlement founded on the 7 hills of the Tiber River. As the legend goes, the legacy of Romulus and Remus started with a period ruled by kings, but the people's unwavering revolt against tyranny led to the establishment of the Roman Republic in 753 BC 509 BC, one of history's most effective political experiments. In this system, power was balanced delicately among the elected Senate, consuls, and popular assemblies. Yet the true engine that transformed Rome from a small Italian power into a world empire was the incessant, yet ultimately constructive, social struggle between the patrician and plebeian classes over rights and laws. After unifying Italy, Rome set its sights on Carthage, the undisputed trading giant of the Mediterranean, and the 3-phased Punic Wars, 264 to 146 BC, were not just a territorial conflict, but a war for the survival of 2 great civilizations. Especially during the Second Punic War, the Carthaginian general Hannibal Barca reached the heart of Italy by crossing the insurmountable Alps with his war elephants, inflicting Rome's bloodiest defeat at Cannae. However, the Romans' unyielding resilience, known as the Punic Faith, and ultimately the strategic genius of Scipio Africanus, defeated Hannibal at Zama, definitively turning the Mediterranean into a Roman lake, or Mare Nostrum. Yet, the massive influx of slaves and the rise of large land ownership, Latifundia, brought by these victories fractured the Republic's social fabric. Small farmers were dispossessed. The reform efforts of the Gracchus brothers were brutally suppressed with political assassinations, and the army became a political tool, pledging allegiance not to the state, but to generals who promised them plunder and land. It was during this period of internal decay that the conqueror of Gaul, Gaius Julius Caesar, gained immense military power and unparalleled popular support by conquering Gaul. When he defied the Senate's order and crossed the Rubicon River with the words Alea iacta est, the die is cast, the Republic had effectively ended, and Caesar consolidated power as the sole ruler. However, his declaration as Dictator Perpetuus, dictator for life, was met with the daggers of the last defenders of the Republican ideal in 44 BC. Caesar's dramatic assassination only ignited a new civil war, and his nephew Octavianus, having eliminated his rivals, took the title Augustus in 27 BC, consolidating all authority to become the first Roman emperor. This ushered in the Pax Romana, Roman peace, an unprecedented 2-century era of stability and prosperity. During this golden age, Rome, with its engineering marvels like aqueducts and roads, wove the empire into a single network. Roman law was perfected, and the empire reached its greatest extent, stretching from Britannia to Mesopotamia. However, with the death of the philosopher-emperor Marcus Aurelius, this celestial order was disrupted, and the crisis of the 3rd century, AD 235 to 284, began. During this time, 26 emperors rose to power in 50 years, most of whom were deposed or murdered. Inflation choked commerce, and the borders started to crumble under barbarian invasions. Emperor Diocletian, in a drastic attempt to halt this chaos, divided the empire into West and East and shared governance, tetrarchy, though this decision sowed the first seeds of permanent separation. Subsequently, Constantine the Great both granted legal freedom to Christianity with the Edict of Milan in AD 313 and permanently shifted the axis of power by moving the capital eastward to the new and fortified Constantinopolis in AD 330. In the late 4th century AD, pressure from the Huns triggered the mass migration of Germanic tribes like the Visigoths and Vandals, who began invading the vulnerable provinces of the Western Roman Empire. The Visigoths' sacking of Rome in AD 410 signified that the city, long considered inviolable, had fallen, a powerful symbol of the empire's inevitable collapse. Finally, in AD 476, the Western Roman Empire quietly came to an end when the Germanic chieftain Odoacer deposed the last Western Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus. Nevertheless, Rome's enduring legacy, its law, its Latin language, its engineering, and its model of governance, would live on in the Byzantine Empire in the East for another 1,000 years and forever echo as the foundation of modern Western civilization.